To illustrate the power of defining DNA-driven mission, vision, and values, we're going to use an analogy from the animal kingdom. Let's take a rhinoceros as an example and define its serving leader compass. It's important to start with DNA, because once we understand the rhino's fundamental, distinctive, and unchanging set of characteristics, we'll then go around the compass and see how DNA influences that rhino's values, mission, and great purpose. Some of the rhino's distinctive characteristics include being a land dweller. Now, before we go any further, let me stop right there. This may seem obvious, but the rhino being a land dweller is a very significant part of its DNA. The rhino may look at an eagle flying in the sky, and it may look at a shark swimming in the ocean, but a rhino will never be able to do what those animals can do because it's just not part of its design. And right away, that illustrates the power of understanding DNA. The rhino may not understand what its values are, or what its mission is, or what its purpose in life is, but knowing it is a land dweller immediately removes 2/3 of the earth, the sky, and the sea from consideration. That understanding, in and of itself, can save your organization so much time, energy, and money by keeping your organization away from pursuits it is not designed to accomplish. So what are some other characteristics of a rhino? It has a distinctive horn. It has extremely thick skin, like an elephant. Rhinos are also very heavy animals, weighing over 1.5 tons. And despite its weight, it's also very fast, able to run up to 30 miles per hour. Rhinos also have very poor eyesight, but they have excellent hearing and a keen sense of smell. They are vegetarians who typically live solitary lives. And finally, they are very territorial and also rather aggressive, which is atypical of vegetarians. So after further investigation, and after taking some time to process all the information we gathered, we might describe a rhino's DNA by saying it is a strong, armoured, peace-loving land dweller that is powerfully fast when its territory is violated. So with this DNA in mind, what sort of values would the rhino live by? Now, of course, there are always transcendent values, such as integrity or excellence, that we can incorporate into our organizations. But the real power of understanding your DNA is to define values that are distinctive and in alignment with your design. So for our rhino, it may have a value like harmony, because it likes balance in its ecosystem, as one of its transcendent values. This is one value all of the animals can buy into. But other values that are distinctive to the rhino, based on its DNA, may be strength or speed, independence, or a defender or protector. You might even experiment with synonyms of these values and create a word like shield that itself describes how the rhino operates. Shield might stand for strength, harmony, independence, energetic, listening, and defender. We could keep iterating here, and this is actually a fun exercise for your organization's creative types. But the point we're trying to make is that your organization's values should not just be picked out of the air. They should be consistent with your DNA. And when they are, it is so much easier and natural to encourage the organization to embrace and operate by them. So let's move on to the next compass point. And by the way, you don't have to go around the circle in sequential order. In fact, we recommend, after you define DNA and values, that you go to great purpose next. The reason we go to great purpose is that it's easier to define your mission once you understand your purpose. So what is the great purpose for the rhino? Why does it exist? Well, rhinos are interesting animals. They are known as an umbrella species because when they are present in a habitat, other species are protected and thrive as a result of their presence. Think about it. If you're down the food chain from one of these predators, it's nice to have a rhino around. With this in mind, we might define the rhino's great purpose on Earth as to be a protector and preserver of life. This then becomes the rhino's true north and northern star, and it is out of this great purpose that the rhino's mission can be defined. The rhino's mission depends on its location. Let's say we have a rhino in a sanctuary in Botswana, Africa. It's in a sanctuary because it's currently on the endangered species list. So this particular rhino's mission might be to create a safe environment in the Kama Sanctuary in Botswana, Africa, where the rhino population can double. That is a mission that is in alignment with its DNA, its great purpose, and its values. And hopefully in 2 or 3 years' time, when that mission is accomplished, the rhino can move on to another mission. So in summary, we now know who the rhino is. A strong, armoured, peace-loving land dweller that is powerfully fast when its territory is violated. We know how the rhino will operate, with values that spell the word shield, strength, harmony, independence, energetic, listening, and being a defender of the defenceless. We know what is going to be accomplished in the next 2 to 3 years, which is to create a safe environment to double the rhino population in the Kama Sanctuary in Botswana, Africa. And we know why it exists, how it'll make the world a better place, which is to be a protector and preserver of life. Let me point out an observation about this rhino that may apply to our organisations and leadership practice. This particular rhino's mission is unique and different from other rhinos around the world, even though they may share a common DNA. So too will other organisations in your industry have a unique mission flowing out of their great purpose and DNA. What we found about many high-performing leaders is that the more they recognise and embrace their organisation's design, the less they pay attention to competitors. They're too busy being true to their DNA and accomplishing their mission to take the time to worry about what the competition is doing. In a similar fashion, an organisation that hasn't defined its DNA may be having an identity crisis. And as a result of not knowing who they are, they look at everyone around them and often try to emulate them, instead of working out what niche they can fill that is true to their design. It's the same thing at a personal level. If you know who you are as a leader and what your design is, you'll stop trying to be like other leaders. I'm not saying we shouldn't learn from other leaders, but we fall into a trap when we think we need to be like another leader, and this applies to organizations as well. Your organization's design, its DNA, its identity, is everything. It's who you are. It's who you were created or founded to be. And that's why we spent so much time on this topic. It's one of the keys to organizational success and the key to your success as a leader.